Hello and welcome back to another behind the scenes photoshoot video. Today I am doing a fantasy inspired shoot with my lovely model, who is also my older sister. We will be shooting at 2 locations for this shoot, starting indoors where we are creating the first setup. I was inspired by this idea I saw on TikTok, where they created a magic mirror effect by pouring water on it. So that's exactly what we are going to try to recreate today. I'm pouring water onto the mirror, and the idea is that the water essentially becomes invisible on top of the already reflective surface. So when she touches it, it looks like the mirror itself is rippling. So this was a great idea in theory, but my execution was clearly flawed. Apparently this old mirror of mine was not sealed around the edges like, I don't know, I just assumed it would be. So every time I poured enough water on the mirror to cover the surface, it would just leak through the sides. So if you're thinking about trying this idea, I would maybe suggest try taping the back edges to help seal the water in. So that's why you can see here we clearly have not put enough water to cover the surface, but I'm hoping that is something that movie magic and editing will help me hide. Here are some before and afters where I was able to edit out the water lines and imperfections. Next, we headed to our second location. I'm currently back home in small town North Carolina, where majestic and fantastical locations are a little scarce this time of year, so I had pretty limited location options for this month's shoot. But I ended up getting permission to shoot on some neighbor's property where there are some really pretty trees. I also had access to my brother's library of weapons and convinced him to let me use his newly purchased sword. So this is the second location where the magic mirror setup from the previous location transports us. The idea is that after touching the mirror, the model is transported into a fantasy realm where she herself is transformed into a sword-wielding princess. Since having access to a sword isn't exactly an everyday thing, it naturally became the centerpiece for the posing. This sword definitely brought something out of my sister, because I wouldn't say that she's always super thrilled about these shoots, especially since I make her do them so often, but I could tell that she was really feeling herself with this thing in her hand. The natural light filtering through the trees and the orange tones of the setting sun complemented the dress perfectly, which is exactly what I was hoping for when I picked the color purple. When I edit, I usually try to stick to a consistent style to maintain a cohesive body of work. But in the spirit of this whole challenge, I decided to step out of my comfort zone a little and experiment with some crazier edits. So here's an example of my typical editing style, and honestly, I really like the shot. It feels clean and polished and fine as is. But I also feel like we could push it a little further, especially since this is a fantasy shoot. So I found some stock photos of blue dust particles and added a little extra magic. What do you think? And here's another. I'm not sure if it's exactly working to the level that I want it to work, but it's fun and suits the purpose of this project, which is to experiment and be creative. I started this project to push myself to engage in more creative work. At the time, I was working a job that involved a lot of content creation in a corporate setting, and I wanted to keep my creative side alive and avoid stagnation. Over time, it evolved into a challenge to push the limits of my production and camera skills, and with every shoot, to create a steady stream of content that would hopefully build me an audience. But instead of that inspiring me, I found myself feeling overwhelmed, and I began to dread these shoots. And that's why being able to work with my sister on this one came at the perfect time. She's one of the few people in front of my camera I don't feel the need to impress. And this gave me the freedom to experiment with these crazier edits and not worry about disappointing a model with photos that might not be my best work. For me, having the freedom to fail is an essential part of the creative process, and this shoot allowed me to embrace that. All right, that's a wrap. She almost cut my head off a couple of times, but that's okay because we got some really good shots. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again soon next time. Bye for now. This shoot ended up being a lot of fun, and we got some really beautiful content. I have 1 month left of this whole challenge, so I hope you'll stay tuned for the very last one coming soon. If you want to see more from this shoot and any of the others from my challenge, make sure to give me a follow on Instagram. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again very soon.